I can hear myself. Alright. So this is Space Station Silicon Valley, and I'm just going to start the timer and introduce myself then. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, hello everyone. My name is mcill, and I am here to speedrun Space Station Silicon Valley for the N64. This is a very interesting game. It was made by DMA, who made Lemmings, was what they probably were first known for, and then they made Grand Theft Auto. And then they became Rockstar North, and now they only make Grand Theft Auto. So this is sort of a weird in-between phase. They made this game, and they made Body Harvest, also for the N64. Body Harvest is another interesting game, so check that one out. But yeah, now we basically just have a cutscene. Normally when I do runs, we actually skip this cutscene and we start the timer at about like 2.5 minutes. So, but since this is a marathon, we're doing the whole thing, and it sort of lays out a plot of which there basically is none. There's a space station, and it's doing something that's bad. So they send out Dan Danger and Evo the robot to stop the bad thing. And that's the plot. And then we just sort of like shelf the plot for the entire game. And it sort of comes back on the last level. And it's almost a different plot. But we'll see how it doesn't really relate when that time comes. This is the any percent category, so I'm just going to be beating the game as fast as possible, as you do in any percent. For Space Station Silicon Valley, that means that you have to beat all of the levels to unlock the final stage, and then you beat the final stage to beat the game. So it sort of works out like a Mega Man game is how I compare it, because you have to beat all the Robot Masters and then the Wily stage unlocks. So it's the same thing here. You beat all the normal levels and then you unlock the final stage. What happened here is sort of another subplot thing where Evo's body blew up and you're playing as a microchip. And that sort of becomes the main mechanic of this game, where this microchip is very weak, but it can possess the corpses of dead robot animals. Oh gosh, this is already... Because we don't do the game by watching the cutscene, it changes level 1 just a little bit. Nah, it's not working. Whatever. We'll deal with it. And that causes me to screw up. There's a better way to do that level, but level 1 is different when you watch the cutscene, so it's hard. But yeah, we get to possess the bodies of dead robot animals and then make use of their abilities. So how do you do this again? Okay. Not gonna lie, guys, I play this game all the time, but I'm a little bit rusty on 80%. I've been doing Silver Evo, which is a different category that requires me to collect more power cells. Maybe I'll talk about that a bit later. But yeah, the main mechanic for this game is swapping into dead animals and making use of their different abilities to complete objectives in the level. And it starts pretty normal, right? You're playing as a dog, you're playing as a sheep, whatever, and things get really weird towards the end, and you start seeing little glimpses of weirdness with the mouse right here, which has wheels instead of legs. Yeah, this was very much a game that people were reminded of when Mario Odyssey came out. The primary difference between Mario Odyssey and this game is that Mario is a very powerful character, and you almost always want to be playing as Mario, whereas Evo is a very weak character, and you never want to be playing as Evo, if at all possible. So that's the difference, is that you really want to make use of the things you can swap into. But yeah, the mouse has wheels instead of legs, because it's actually a robot animal, and all of the animals on the space station are actually robots. And that's sort of, you know, you end up with some really unique things happening. You'll see missiles and like tanks, flying animals like airplanes, etc. This is the first large skip I'm going to be doing. It's probably saves about 30 seconds. I call this leap of mouse. You're supposed to play as the sheep and use its floating ability to get to the teleporter in this level, but the sheep is really slow. So I'm going to try to use the mouse, and I might just die. Or first try, easy trick every time. A lot of runs die on this level, Honeymoon Lagoon. Because of that trick, it's a lot harder than it might appear, because it might look hard in the first place. It looks hard to me, but also the teleporter really likes to knock the mouse around, and so you can't actually aim for like on the teleporter. You have to aim to land behind or beside the teleporter, either to the left or to the right. Otherwise, you'll get knocked off and into the water again. And then the mouse takes damage in the water, so you might just die. It's a good time. So here's, you know, starting to get even weirder with the animals. You have a racing dog who has wheels instead of feet, still has legs, but has wheels on the bottom, and can shoot missiles. So I'm just gonna... Oh geez, I missed a head. Oh, my controller has a snapback issue, and it causes me to spin around at inopportune times. So, alright, a little nifty trick here where I'm going to put... I need the ram to hit a switch, but I also need the dog over here, so I'm going to put the ram on the dog's back and sort of carry it over, hit this switch. That trick there is actually called a hitbox extension. If you use the headbutt attack as the ram, or a bunch of other animals have a similar property, you can extend its hitbox beyond where it's supposed to be and hit switches that you're not supposed to hit. So, neat. Every time a level ends, I go towards my split button, but I don't have splits right now, so I just need to, you know, not pause the timer. It's a struggle of willpower. So the leap of mouse was sort of the first run-ending trick in the game, and up next is the leap of fox, which is another run-ending trick. But right now we're actually going to do something called a cutscene skip, where you don't actually skip the cutscene. Instead you swap out of an animal, swap back into it, and you swap back into it when the cutscene starts. And if you do that, then the game takes away your control of your character when the cutscene starts, but if you then swap into a different animal, you regain control. So I was moving through that entire cutscene and making it pretty much to the end of the level. Another thing you saw was, actually you've seen several of them, is new animal cutscenes. They show up whenever you swap into an animal that you haven't played as before. So I've completed all of the objectives now, but I mean, I did this level in a really strange order, so instead of beating the level as normal, I'm going to do the leap of fox, which looks like that, and I nailed it. If you miss it, you die. So that's, you know, the next thing where it's like the run's just sort of over. But things don't end there, because now we have Fatback Mountain, which is just an impossible level. It doesn't kill your run, though. Well, I should say, you know, the goal for each level is to activate a teleporter and then reach the teleporter, and you do that by completing various objectives in the level. The objectives are fairly simple. usually just something like hitting a switch. Here I'm trying to hit the switch as Evo and swap back into the dog. This is a 1-frame cutscene skip, but I failed it, so alas. But yeah, some cutscene skips are easy, like the one I did in the engine room, the last level, and this cutscene skip is impossible, because it's a 1-frame trick, which is not actually impossible, but it's hard. So yeah, you complete all of the objectives in the level, and then go from there. That was a trick called bear skip. You're supposed to play as the bear to hit that switch. If the enemy bear hits the switch, it doesn't count. You have to be the bear and you have to hit it. But if you just happen to be on the switch while the enemy bear is on the switch, it counts. So that skipped me playing as the bear. Good times. I'm almost doing nothing in this game the intended way, by the way. Pretty much everything is being done out of order, and that just is one of the good things about this game, is that they give you simple objectives, but they don't really tell you how to do them. You can do them however you want. So like one objective in this level is to get a spring thing, and I chose to get the spring ram. You can get the spring sheep, and I did it by, you know, teleporting into that pen, and you definitely shouldn't have done that. That's a sequence break. So every level is sequence broken like crazy. That trick is called the gravity clip. Some people like to say you're not actually clipping over any or clipping through anything, but I don't care. It's called the gravity clip, which is another sequence break that, you know, lets you cross the level really easily with the spring ram. It lowers the gravity so you can jump a lot higher and carry on. But yeah, we're basically sequence breaking every level. Nothing is being done in order, but it might not look too out of the ordinary because this game is wacky to begin with, but also because I can do it all, and it's not really a big deal. But rest assured, this is not how you're supposed to play the game. Every level in the game, except for 2, has... You have to complete the objectives to activate the teleporter. And there are 2 levels that don't have that. The first one is Stinky Sewers, which is this level right here. This one, all we need to do is bring the king rat to the teleporter. And that will activate the teleporter for some reason. So, oh geez, this is an interesting situation. Sort of got the barrel stuck on the wall for some reason. I need this barrel to perform the trick up dog. If you're asking what's up dog, this is what's up dog. And that's, you're not supposed to go into that hole. That's the exit port that you're supposed to take the king rat through. But we used up dog to get there. And then there's that bar that I backed through. That bar is there for one purpose and one purpose only, which is to prevent the dog from going through. But if you just go backwards, it works. So, good job, developers. So that was the king rat and his minions, and they're all dead now. This is also the only level in the game that doesn't have any background music. One hypothesis is that there is no music because there's no speakers in this level. And the music in this game is actually from the speakers. I forget what they call that. Diegetic or something like that? Maybe I just made that word up. But the closer you are to a speaker, the louder the music will play. The farther away you are from speakers, the quieter it will be. And if you destroy all the speakers, there is no more music. But yeah, this time the teleporter activated and I only completed one objective, which was bringing the king rat to the king rat's lair. And then the second level that does not have any requirements for activating the teleporter is this level, Radomatic, where the teleporter here is actually always activated. So we don't have to do anything. But in order to reach the teleporter, we do need a mouse. So we still have to do some things. You can't just walk straight to the teleporter. We're going to do that by killing the mouse through this door. There's a blue bar at the bottom of the screen, and that's the enemy's health. It's going down, so I know it's dying. And you hear it die. Diegetic is correct. There we go. I'm an intelligent person. So I'm going to enter the radomatic here, and I'm going to do it while boosting off of the radomatic. And actually, a little bit of a screw up there. I used Silver Evo strats for that. Because in Silver Evo, you need to collect 200 power cells. And there's a power cell below the radomatic, so I went into the radomatic in a certain way to collect that power cell. But this is any percent. I don't need to collect that cell, so it's not a big deal. But what that does is, by entering the radomatic in a certain way, it glitches the game and causes you to get launched upwards instead of downwards when you leave the pipe. And that lets you leave the radomatic instead of going through it. There you just sort of squeeze between the wall of the mouse hole and the thing that's blocking it. And then here you just ricochet off the wall and skip everything and beat the game. The level. We haven't beaten the game yet. This is the SSSV is separated into 4 worlds. There's Europe, the Arctic, the jungle, and the desert. And we've been playing in Europe, and we've actually reached the end of Europe. And the last stage in every region is a weird level. This one is called Give a Dog a Bonus, and it's sort of like an air combat level, except the first little bit is a ring section, which you can either say is similar to Diddy Kong Racing or Superman 64. So pick your poison there. But when you reach the last ring, then animals spawn and you have to kill a certain number of animals to beat the level. There's a trick to fighting these dogs, which is to go behind this barrier, and your bullets will go through the barrier, so they'll all stack behind the wall, and you just sort of kill them all. And when you kill 4 of them, foxes spawn, and then there's the trick to killing the foxes, which is to fly really low, fly towards them, and then the fox on the right dies to the missiles of the other foxes, and then the 2 other foxes get stuck on the wall, it's the same wall, and then you're done. The thing about I call them boss stages. There's not really any bosses, but they're the final stages in each area anyway, is you get to collect parts of Evo's body that blew up at the start of the game. So there, I forget what, I think the torso we just collected. There's the torso, the arms, the head, and the legs. And we just collected one of them. I don't know which. But that brings us to the Arctic biome, which is an entirely new biome. We actually unlock new biomes just by beating 3 levels in the previous biome. So you can, if you get bored of playing as mice and dogs and rats and foxes and sheep, you can swap to the Arctic whenever you feel like it. Play the game how you want, you know? And how do you, what's the route here? I don't remember. Something like this anyway. But yeah, you can play as whatever animals you feel like at the time. There's an entirely new set for the Arctic, of course. This trick looks like a really, really strange glitch, but it's entirely intended, so don't worry about it. There's actually an invisible platform there, and you're supposed to hit a light switch that reveals that platform, and that platform is supposed to bring you to a bonus item in the level. But it also happens to take you right over the teleporter. Oh, I was going for that power cell, but then I remembered this is not the Silver Evo route. I'm doing any percent. Ah, jeez. And I'm going to collect the cell anyway, apparently. That was interesting. But yeah, in this game, there are, those purple orbs are the power cells. There's 15 per level for a total of 390. And then there's also one, it's like a hidden bonus objective that you can do. And then when you complete it, it will spawn a level trophy. Silver Evil's going to mess me up the entire time, but don't worry about that. But any percent is by far the best category for this game. When I submitted this game, I actually don't think I specified a category. I meant to submit any percent, but I didn't specify. That trick there we call a cliff clip. Again, some people say it's not a clip, but like they can deal with it. And it skips having to play as a walrus. And yeah, that was a head I picked up, and the objective for this level is to collect the heads. So I think there's a lore reason for that too, which is that this space station was created in the year 2000, and then it disappeared like 7 seconds after it was completed, and then it's now the year 3000. And the reason why the robot, or why the animals are all robots, is because the animals that were on the space station merged with the technology of the space station and became robot animals. And then the robot animals sort of killed all the scientists that were on the space station, and in the Arctic, the heads of the scientists were preserved in the cold. This seagull is basically the main objective of the level. You have to kill it, and it's programmed to fly away as soon as you go down that slope. So I stayed on the slope and outside of that range that triggers it to fly away. That's a pretty hard trick to do, but it saves a billion. And then you just sort of, the level's done. Kind of a slow level next, so I guess I can talk about Silver Evo and 99%. Those are the other two categories for this game. So Silver Evo, at the end of the game, on the final stage, you play as Evo once you've reassembled his body, and Evo will either be gold, silver, or bronze, depending on how many power cells you pick up. If you collect less than 200, you play as Bronze Evo, who is, you know, slow and weak and can't jump very high and just everything bad. If you collect more than 200, or I guess 200 or more, then you play as Silver Evo, who is better in every way. And then if you collect all 390, you play as Gold Evo. I realized I didn't do the knack skip route, but we'll talk about that later. I'm not supposed to get power cells. Don't get the power cells. So yeah, the Silver Evo category requires you to get 200 power cells. Since that's the category I'm doing right now for, you know, my everyday grind, I'm drawn to the power cells now in this marathon run, because I can't get Silver Evo out of my mind. But then there's also the 99% category, which requires you to get all of the power cells and as many of the trophies as is possible to get. There's one infamous trophy in this game on Fatback Mountain, which spawns, but they didn't activate its hitbox, so you can't pick it up. And so you can't get 100% in this game, so you get 99% instead. This piano section is RNG. There are 6 different patterns you can get. One of which is called Satan's March, which is the pattern I got right now. And this is the worst pattern by far. It sounds terrible and it's slow. Yeah, they did make a ROM hack that they, being somebody who goes by the name Seagull, made a ROM hack that basically just fixes that one thing. It also adds, I think, a language select option, which is present in the PAL version of the game, but not in the NTSC version, so it adds it to the NTSC version. But yeah, the reason why this pattern is so bad is because I have to fly to get to the 2nd key, the 3rd key, and the 4th key. The 5th key and the 6th key are pretty fast, but the damage is already done. Especially because you have to play the first 4 keys more often than you have to play the 6th one. Hoppachapa is a fun level. And it starts by flying over a wall as soon as you get the King Penguin. And then after that, it's quite a technical level. You have to control your ammo and your speed and predict where animals are going. Pretty fun. But yeah, here's the wall that you just fly over. And conveniently, you land right on top of a heli rabbit, which dies. And you have to play this level properly because the 2 circles at the bottom left side of the screen, those are your ability energy meters. And as you use them, or as you use your abilities, you know, it drains and it recharges at a certain rate. So you can't just spam bombs as the heli rabbit. And so I'm sort of doing this level in a way that maximizes my damage and sort of minimizes the time that's spent waiting for bombs to recharge. So that's why I didn't kill anything on the way over. I just weakened everything. Oh, jeez. And then I kill everything on the way back so that I'm never out of ammo. And so that there's only a few times where I'm already at full ammo. So I'm constantly making use of my recharge, and I'm constantly attacking things. So we've reached something fishy. Something fishy is the what's the word? The token water level that every game has, and like every game, the water level is the worst level. Oh, jeez. In the game. This one is the worst, I think, primarily because it's so laggy. You can't really tell how laggy it is, but if you were to play this on an emulator, the lag would be minimal and you'd be rocketing through this level. I'm trying to do a trick here that's called Cod Escape. Basically just trying to find a spot on land where you can jump out of the cod and play as Evo for a bit. And that trick, combined with jumping over that barrier, skips the entire level in terms of the puzzle. There's a puzzle where you have to kill a walrus, lower the water, play as the walrus, then hit that switch, then go back and play as a fish again, and then raise the water. And that's just, it takes a long time. so we're just going to skip it. I got another knack there. So I mentioned earlier the knack skip route. Knack skipping, knack stands for new animal cutscene, which is that scene that just played when I swapped into the COD. Because that was my first time swapping into a COD, the game gave me a cutscene that sort of explains what the COD is and what it does. And the new animal cutscenes are a little bit strange in this game. Sometimes they just don't activate, and it seems to be based on the order in which you beat the game, the level order. And we found a semi-consistent way of skipping both the King Penguin knack and the COD knack by playing the levels a little bit out of order, basically by delaying the second half of the Arctic until after you've beaten the jungle. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is a thing. And so one route allows us to skip those knacks by doing the jungle first. One benefit of that is that you get to play the jungle earlier, and the jungle is a pretty hard area. It's got a lot of spots that will kill a run. So by playing it earlier, you can reset faster and get more runs in. This is the boss stage for the Arctic, and just like every other boss stage, it's not a normal level. This is Wall Race 64, which is of course a reference to Wave Race 64, except we're walruses. And that orange guy is a jerk and steals the boost, so I started in front of it so that it didn't steal the boost. Oh, time bonus. Look at that. There are 3 of those time bonus cubes in the race, and that one just sort of happens to be in a convenient spot where you might accidentally pick it up. It, of course, doesn't do anything because the game, we time based on real time, not on in-game time. But if we did in-game time, that would have saved me 10 seconds. So I wasn't trying to pick it up. It's actually kind of rare to pick it up. And I definitely, I promise you I wasn't trying to pick it up. I'm just trying to go fast. But we did it. We did it right. One thing I'm going to try to do is move during this cutscene to pick up the trophy. But the trophy is Evo's head. And I picked it up. So 53 seconds would be the fastest anybody's ever completed this, except that it's not 53 seconds. It took me 1 minute and 3 seconds, which is still pretty fast. The actual record is 59 seconds, I think. Did I get 59 seconds? 59. What happened with this game? This game is dope, first of all, but a couple of things happened. One was that it was released at the same time as Ocarina of Time, and so everybody was busy buying Ocarina of Time instead of SSSV. The other thing is that it was called Space Station Silicon Valley, which is kind of an odd title. Normally, this boulder can be raised by just sort of spamming at it, and that's what I'm trying to do. But sometimes it just doesn't like to do that. There we go. And yeah, by calling the game Space Station Silicon Valley, you also make it very hard to search for. Like if you Google Space Station, you're not going to get this game. If you Google Silicon Valley, you're not going to get this game. You're going to get something completely different. That trick I just did there is called Evo launching. That was found by C# in chat. C# is one of the newer runners to this game, and has definitely made the game easier to run as a result of finding a couple of things, one of which being Evo Punch. Exactly, Bentley. It's I don't know. The game itself is an amazing concept. It's not a perfect game, of course, especially because you can't get 100% completion. But the concept is one of the greatest concepts for a game that I've ever played. Execution-wise, it's, you know, I like it, but I can see why some people wouldn't like it. Concept is top tier, though. How is this guy not laughing? Are you serious? Okay, that was... The hyena has a laugh attack, and it stun locks dudes. But I must have screwed up somehow, causing the hippo to not laugh as fast as it should have. Whatever. I'm going to do a trick here that we call hippo jumping, which is one of several sort of proxy jump type tricks that are available in this game. The only things I needed to do in this level are turn on that log ride and get a parrot. And the parrot is on the other side of this wall, so we're just going to go over the wall. One thing about this game is that most of the tricks you're seeing me do that you're noticing, I might not be pointing out every trick, but you know, if you notice a trick or I point one out, it's probably really easy to do, and you can probably just pick up a controller, start playing the game, and do the trick. Like, the hippo jump was as easy as it might look. You just mash buttons and you fly over the wall. It is that easy. The challenge in this game is doing things fast. And a lot of that has to do with dealing with the enemy animals as they move around. And this gorilla kill is one of the harder things in the game because the racing turtle sucks. Least favorite animal. Not dying is basically impossible. It's not really an option. So here is another proxy jump. This is called gorilla jumping. I said this is called gorilla jumping. Gorilla jumping, you need to have a barrel. And then you stand on the gorilla's shoulders and you walk into the barrel and then you gorilla jump. And that's the trick. Again, as easy as it sounds, you can pick up the controller. Having never played this game, you can do it. Can you kill the gorilla as the turtle? Almost certainly not. But you can gorilla jump. Just gotta complete an objective here. And then, oh, am I gonna laugh? I'm gonna just get this. There we go. Another gorilla jump here. And we're good to go. A lot of gorilla jumping now. Racing turtle is... It's not even fast as like a racing type animal. The ski husky is faster, the racing dog is faster, the racing mouse is faster, the biker hyena is faster. Every now and then you'll see me swap out of an animal and just swap right back into it. What I'm doing there is I'm recharging my ability energy. So in this case, Evo, Microchip Evo, has a B button ability energy recharge rate that is faster than the lion's recharge rate for the B button ability. So I swapped out of the lion to play as Evo just for a little bit to recharge my energy a little bit faster and do a couple more roars. Just gonna do another gorilla jump here so we can play as the elephant. And then we're gonna bring our trusty little springboard over to the other side of the level. Where we do another gorilla jump. Raise some rocks. The next trick is the YOLO fish. The color is a little bit darker than normal, but I'm gonna say that's my fault. So this is the YOLO fish. Real quick here. You need something that can swim or sink in the water. You're supposed to use the elephant, but the elephant is slow, so we're just gonna try to not die and, you know, scream across the land. But yeah, I kind of janked my setup. Normally, when I stream, I have a really janky setup. So I changed it to a more normal setup for the purpose of this marathon, so that everything would be fine from a streaming perspective or a restreaming perspective. That's another Evo launch, by the way. So I'm streaming on a pretty normal setup, but for me it's like kind of janky. And that's probably one reason why it's a little bit darker than normal. So normal, or at least not normally, but we used to, before C# invented the Evo launch, we used to do a hyena jump, which was identical to a hippo jump, except with a hyena instead. And it was also a lot harder because the hyena is smaller than the hippo. Only a single gorilla. Feels bad, man. It's possible for these gorillas to group up when they land, and then the area of effect damage from the missiles will hit both of them, and then you can kill both of them with the same volley of missiles, which is of course twice as fast. But I didn't get it, so alas. This trick is called the key jump, and it's hard and I hate it, but I got it, so we're good. I'm going to try to get on the teleporter during this cutscene, just to show you what happens. If you get on the teleporter during the cutscene, you get a double warp animation, and so you actually want to wait for the cutscene to end before getting onto the teleporter. It's one of these go slow to go fast things. The jungle is actually the shortest area in the game. We've done it already, and we've hit the worst level in the game probably, which is Evos Escape. It's a rail shooter. Again, like the other ones, other boss stages, it's not part of the normal game. It's a rail shooter, and you just sort of shoot things, and you can hold the B button to go faster. So that's what I'm doing. You do need 12,100 points in order to complete the level. If you reach the end without getting 12,100 points, the game just says, you suck, try again. It doesn't say that exactly, but it heavily implies that. There's also, basically the only other thing you can do to speed this up is to reduce lag by staring at the roof. So my goal is to focus down only animals that are worth 500 points, And then you also saw me kill one hyena, which is only worth 100 points, but like I said, you need 12,100 points. Not 12,000 points, not 12,500 points, 12,100 points. So that 100 points there is useful, but you don't really need any more. And here in this shooting gallery section, I'm focusing down the turtles because both the turtles and the chameleons are worth 500 points. And there's no incentive for you to be killing the chameleons. They're just farther away and they're smaller, so it's just harder. One interesting thing about these darts is that you seem to get a 100% hit rate if you just look away from the animal that you're shooting at. And it takes 4 hits to kill, so usually I'll hit it 3 times and then I'll look away, and then the 4th dart will just always hit. Oh, that's 12,100. We're good to go. So now we just stare at the roof for like 2 minutes, something like that, holding B. This does reduce the lag. It might save a second at the most, but yeah, this is the level. This is something that reminds me of GoldenEye 64 speedrunning, where your goal is to not see what's happening. Your goal is to always be looking at either the wall or the floor or the roof. Difference is that this is an auto scroller, so there's no skill involved here. If you look at the very end of the stage, there's a tree, and if you look just to the right side of the tree, in the very corner of this level, you'll see a microchip Evo model. There it is. There it is. And that can cause some problems. There's some really funky glitches you can do with this level, none of which speeds up the game. But basically, you can spawn a chameleon and control that chameleon and kill Evo while doing the rail shooter. And then when you do that, you lose. So, good job. But that was the rail shooter, and we're done. And we're on to the Arctic. I mean, the opposite of the Arctic, the desert. Oh, cactus jump. We're doing cactus jump. Forget it. This is a new trick that C# found. It's maybe only marginally faster, or it might not be faster at all. I've never done it in a run, but you just sort of get yourself on a cactus like this, and then you hold up, and then you go into the air, and then you do a cactus jump. And that's the trick. It is way faster. I mean, C# says it's way faster. I don't know. Just like in real life. Exactly like real life. Ah, okay. Maybe it's faster if you do that. This switch here is the only switch in the game that you can activate by shooting. I don't know why, but that's a thing. So this is the level where they really make it clear that the music is coming from the speakers, because your objective is to blow up all of the speakers, as well as turn the X's into O's. Oh, except this is a British game, so it's the noughts into the crosses. You have to turn knots into crosses. I mentioned hitbox extensions a lot earlier in the game when I was playing as the Ram, and I might have used hitbox extensions in other spots and just didn't notice it, but this level has some noticeable hitbox extensions in it as well. I guess just one in this category, but the vulture can hitbox extend downwards because its claws are below it and not in front of it. I have my camera facing this way because the whirlpool of lag is below me, so I'm trying not to stare at it, and then as soon as I see it, I switch into first person mode and continue to avoid looking at it. So there's a switch here, and I just hit it using my hitbox extension. You're supposed to play as a scorpion and go into the scorpion den, but we're not doing that because scorpions are slow. I'll grab the health just in case. I'm fine, and I know I'm fine, but I'm just gonna do it just because sometimes I'm not fine. Am I still dizzy? Okay, come on, guy. There we go. I am still dizzy. What the heck? It's fine, it's fine. So I didn't raise all 3 of the platforms. You're supposed to, of course, but you can actually get to the opposite shore without using the platforms, so we're good to go. That's the name. It's a good name. The other thing in this game is the lag beam, which was in Wait For It, and we never saw it. Wait For It was the level with the lion. We never saw it because I avoided that thing like the plague. The lag beam is actually worse than the whirlpool of lag. It's the source of all lag on N64 games ever. They all came from that. It's just residual lag. You can go faster as the Desert Fox by using its spin attack, but the spin attack also makes you dizzy if you do it for too long, so instead I do it in small bursts. That jump there is called the Shaw Jump because of Shaw Lightning. Big shout outs. And here, yeah, more sequence break stuff. At the end of this level, the teleporter is surrounded by pillars and is on a platform. The purpose of that is to make sure that larger animals, such as the vulture and the kangaroo, cannot get onto the teleporter. And so, oh geez, whatever. And so that Evo can't get onto the teleporter because it's raised up a little bit. So the intent is for you to play as the vulture and pick up the Desert Fox, carry it to the teleporter, and then use the Desert Fox to beat the level. Instead, we're going to use the kangaroo's dead body as a platform to lock onto the teleporter as Evo. So, you know, the developers did their best, but in the end they made it too sandboxy, allowing us to beat the game however we feel like. I'm going to do another cutscene skip here. You know, we're going to succeed. Nailed it. That one is... Oh, no. Did I succeed? What? How? C-sharp, how do you do that? I got the new animal cutscene for the Desert Fox, and normally you're supposed to get that in Fun in the Sun, but because of the cactus jump route, I didn't get that, so... I got it here, and that cutscene skip that I did, I got the cutscene skip, but you can actually extend it if you, during the cutscene, activate the second cutscene by hitting the next camera. And then you can extend your cutscene skip property to the next cutscene that plays, and you're good to go. But because I got the new animal cutscene, because I did the cactus jump, that didn't work because the new animal cutscene slowed me down, and the cutscene ended before I could reach the camera. So, oh well. This trick is called the Jurassic Jump. I don't know who found that. It might have been me. It might have been AC. It might have been Cracker Game. Could have been just like any random person. And this is the trick that has no name, but it's very important. This level, you're supposed to use the kangaroo to crisscross across the entire level to get a vulture so that you can reach the teleporter. Thankfully, you can reach the teleporter as the kangaroo, and that saves like a minute and a half. This is the Whirlwind tour skip, and it sucks because it's on like the, what is this, the fourth last level in the game, and it's 100% necessary, and it saves like 2 minutes, and there's no setup. So you just sort of keep trying until eventually it works. Usually it's not this bad. Ah. This is punishment for getting Leap of Mouse first try and Leap of Fox first try. There we go. This brings us right to where we need to be. This level is... Are you serious? Okay. Almost died. That's really sketchy. This level is laid out basically to the point where you have to cross the entire level as the camel, just so that you can get the ability to jump, so that you can cross back across the entire level to kill the kangaroo, so that you gain the ability to jump higher, so that you can cross back across the entire level again to gain the ability to fly. So, really rounded out level. Fortunately, the Whirlwind tour skip lets us beat the level relatively fast. I think this level takes about 2 minutes when done properly. When you miss Whirlwind tour skip 10 times, it might take longer. I need the kangaroo here to do the turbo launch. Not many people have, but yeah. And this is the turbo launch. That was a regular launch. That's the turbo launch. Again, the turbo launch, it looks kind of cool, but it doesn't look that special, but it does save like 40 seconds. It's a lot. Basically the only runner. There are more runners now than there have ever been for this game. That trick is called the TV jump, and it skips the entire level. And yes, all you do is jump on that TV. But there's a massive puzzle in this involving like going into a tent to blow some wind, to change the way the sand dunes are adjusted so you can reach certain things. It's quite complex and a really cool puzzle, but you can just jump on the TV and you skip the whole thing. So here we're going to do another thing where we don't pick up the desert fox and instead use an animal's corpse to get onto the teleporter as Evo. And then we're good to go. They're robot animals, so it's okay, right? They're not dead, they're deactivated. It's better. This is Punch-Up Pyramid, which is the boss stage for the desert. It's a boxing simulator. It feels a little bit better. It's a robot animal. It's okay. So the thing about this stage is that it's not about spamming your attacks. It's about preserving your attack ability energy. So you have to make sure you don't waste any punches. Okay, that was not great. Those punches that I threw into thin air were actually idle animation punches. The kangaroo, if you stand still long enough, will just start punching on its own, and that doesn't cost any energy. Normally, those punches will connect with the camel, but the camel decided to walk away, so alas. I'm setting up something here called the AC camel, involving spawning this camel on my shoulders and having it teleport against the ropes, and then I can push it over the ropes and just out of bounds, but not too far out of bounds. If you miss, it will either land in the ring or it will land all the way out of bounds where you can't hit it anymore and you soft lock the level. So yeah, if you do get it in this state, its AI breaks, and all it tries to do is walk into the middle of the ring, and it won't teleport. And teleporting, it gets iframes, so you can't hit it until it finishes teleporting, and it will shoot at you. But now, we can just destroy it. You can also start using passive punches when it's out of bounds. When it's in bounds, passive punching the camel basically doesn't work. Oh, I should grab some health. I didn't realize I was at half health. The kangaroo is the only animal that should be able to kill you. The normal camel does have sometimes a bit of a shotgun effect on its spit attack, and so it can drain your health really fast, randomly. But normally it's not a threat, and it's just the kangaroo is a threat. Yeah, so yesterday I had a run that was, I forget, it was really close to PB pace. It was a very good run, and I got to Punch-Up Pyramid. Oh no, the run had died already at that point for some reason. I forget why. Whirlwind to it? But then I died to the kangaroo, and then I died to the kangaroo again. And this is, I think, the longest level in the game. So dying to the kangaroo is like a 4-minute time loss. So I went from like plus 30 seconds to plus 9 minutes. On my splits, it was quite rough. Okay. So now we've collected all of Evo's body parts, and we're ready to beat the game. I'm gonna try to destroy the lore by doing something called level select glitch. And we'll see how successful I am. Nah, I failed. Okay, we'll see the lore. Level select glitch is something that only affects the final stage, Big Celebration Parade. If you swap levels and select levels on the same frame, then it will insert the text of the previous level into the new level. And then so you'll start seeing like punch up pyramid text show up here. That was the eye of the tiger, yes, but not enough to get sued, okay? Only enough for you to understand that it's the eye of the tiger. But we'll see the lore here. Apparently for this entire time there was an evil brain that was doing something, and it had a shrink ray. So that's... now we understand what was going on this entire time. Right? It all makes sense. So this is like the Metroid Mother Brain fight. It's super epic, and it's dead. Okay. So because I didn't get level select glitch, instead of replaying the level, I'm going to exit the level and try again. I missed. That should have worked. Yeah, so then now it's saying you're out. You fight like my gran, 0 rounds. This just sort of breaks the text, you know? I didn't do delayed animal spawn because I don't know how to play any percent anymore. What this does is it, by doing level select glitch, it removes the... Dan does its giant spiel at the end of the game, talking about how he did it and he saved the world and you were there too, and how there is no ending because he sold it to buy a new spaceship. But this skips all of that. Okay, this is going to be a really rough BCP because the start of this level is super important, and I just botched it completely because I don't know how to play it with Bronze Evo. But it's fine. I think the fox is coming back, right? There it is. Nah, I still didn't kill it, but now the dogs are coming back because that's just how it works. Only one? Where's the other dog? Where's the... did the other dog die? Maybe the other dog died. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. This is not great. Okay, so the way this level works is that there are, I think, something like 52 animals, and you have to kill them all, and they spawn in waves. The first wave is the sheep. And then when you kill enough sheep, you'll hear a dog howl, and then that means that the mice have spawned. And then when you kill enough mice, you'll hear a howl, and that means that the frogs have spawned. And the frogs you don't actually see in the normal game. They sort of didn't use them, but they put them in Big Celebration Parade for some reason. And then after the frogs, the rats will spawn. I have no idea. Normally I count the animals that I kill. There's 7 of each animal, but I just don't know how many of each animal I've killed at this point. I heard the... nah, shoot. I heard the fox. I think I should just go to the rats. The dogs aren't going to spawn. The fastest way to beat this... oh, the dogs did spawn. Okay, we're in there. The fastest way to beat this is to kill the dogs before the rats, even though the rats spawn first. But in order to do that, you have to kill enough animals. And because I didn't kill this flying fox, and because I didn't count how many mice I killed, I thought that I didn't kill enough animals to spawn the dogs in time. So I was going to go to the rats, but I don't have to. Is there another dog somewhere? I don't know. The dog spawns suck sometimes. Yeah, there's also walking mice in this level, which are not in the regular game, but they just decided to throw them in here. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm bronze Evo, I'm really slow and weak, and so these king rats are faster than me, so I'm going to stand off to the side of the level, which de-aggroes all of the animals, and so that prevents them from running away from me and from attacking me, so I can kill them in peace. In peace for me, but not in peace for them, I guess. It's sort of a one-way truce, one-way ceasefire. Yeah, the only other animal that matters here is this flying fox. The flying foxes always matter for some reason. They're crazy animals that just like to ruin everything. That was the end. That's the game. And time. So normally there's, you know, stuff that happens, but we did the level select glitch to prevent things from happening. So the level just sort of ends. The real ending is just as anticlimactic. It just sort of, when they made this game, there's a really neat article about them making this game, and it basically they were just experimenting with things, and then when they ran out of time to experiment with stuff, they just sort of slapped a game together. And so you can see it particularly in the lore, or in the story, I mean, where there is no story and they just sort of have a game and then the game just sort of ends. But that was Space Station Silicon Valley. I believe, what, Glover is next? Glover's a great game. And Lolaway's a great person. So stick around for that. And the rest of the N64 block. There's a lot of sleeper hits in the N64 block here, so yeah, thanks for watching Space Station Silicon Valley. It's probably the first time you've seen this, and I hope you enjoyed it. I want to let the credits play out so that we can all thank Kathy at the very end, and then I will cut stream, I suppose, if that's how that works. And there's Kathy, the hygiene engineer. Special shoutouts to Kathy, who, you know, really brought this game together. Thanks everyone, and see ya.